Okay, there we go. All right. Hello, Rosendo.
Hey, Rosendo.
All right. Here we are, back to business here, number 5. Number 5 says many ways. So should we say there is or there are?
There are.
There are,
Yeah.
right.
There are many ways.
Because ways is plural, so we always want to match.
All right.
Okay, now the next one, it says, I will call my aunt. Very similar to number 1, right? We have a time clause, but in the future. So as soon as I arrive in Seattle, I will call my aunt, right? Present and future, we got those partners. Now this one goes back to what we studied way back in April. We have over here would, right? It would probably arrive by tomorrow, right? So this is a imaginary conditional, right? With would. So what's the partner of would? Do you remember?
Past.
Simple past, right? So
Sent.
sent. Okay, let's see here. 2 people in the waiting room. Let me admit. Okay. Okay. 2 more people. Admit. Poor Claudia is having a problem. I don't know what's going on with Claudia. Now Leonardo's having the same problem. Oh my goodness. The connection is not working well for some people tonight.
Yeah.
Did anybody else have a problem getting into the room?
No.
No, I didn't.
I didn't.
Poor Claudia is going crazy. She's tried to get in about 50 times now.
Wow.
All right. Oh no, I'm going crazy trying to get these people inside. All right. Did they get in? No. Admit. Sorry, students. This is a big problem. All right, let's keep going. All right, hopefully they'll get in sooner or later. All right, the next one says, Teresa, any vegetables in her garden next year?
Will Teresa
grow.
Will, right.
Teresa grow?
Will grow. Will Teresa grow any vegetables in her garden next year? The next one says, I try something. I try what?
To review?
To review. The next one says, we on Saturdays.
We don't.
We don't, right?
Won't have.
We don't have.
Because it's in general, right? We don't have class on Saturdays. The next one says ever. Has Jack ever read, right? Has Jack ever read any Mexican novels? Has read. The next one has the word about. Mr. Carson is excited about managing, right? Got to have that gerund after the preposition, right?
The child by himself.
All right. Shelley told her boss, so many personal questions.
Don't
ask.
Now remember when we have a verb and an object, what comes next? Verb plus object plus
ing.
Infinitive, right? Not to ask. Verb, object, infinitive. Remember that? He told me to. He asked me to. Right? Tell somebody to do something. Ask somebody to do something. Verb, object, and infinitive. Verb, object, and infinitive. The next one says, for your trip tomorrow or Friday.
Are
Will
you
Will you pack or are you
Will
going
you
to pack?
pack? Will you pack?
Will you pack? Are you going to pack tomorrow or on Friday? The next one says rarely. Rarely is a frequency adverb, right? So what can we say? Bobby rarely
go?
goes. Exactly. Simple present. All right. The next one says, I new clothes very often. Well, not very often is the same as rarely, right?
I don't.
I don't buy.
Exactly. In general, don't buy. Simple present. Now the next one, we have to be careful. We have the word already, but over here we have past. When you saw him.
Has finished.
Had, exactly.
Has finished.
Had Bill already finished his
Finished.
homework when you saw him. The next one, it says he could have stopped the fire. He could have stopped the fire. Right? What is the partner of could have, might have, may have?
I don't know.
Would.
Remember, past conditional.
Who?
So
Wouldn't be.
hadn't been, right?
Hadn't.
Remember, past perfect and would have, could have. If he hadn't been at home, he could have stopped the fire, but he was at home. All right. The next one says it costs a lot of money.
Flying.
Costs a lot of money. What?
Flying.
Fly?
Flying.
To fly.
To
Flying.
fly. Right.
Fly.
To fly.
Fly.
The next one, oops, I'm already answering it for you. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by all these students who are trying to get in and having no luck. Poor Claudia, poor Leonarda tonight. They just can't get
I
in.
have painted.
Here's Claudia
I
again.
haven't.
I haven't painted. Next one. The hobby is what?
Is
Playing.
Playing, right?
playing.
The doctor, what about the doctor?
Does.
Should we say is or does?
Does.
Does.
Is.
Oh, no,
Is,
At the
is,
moment.
is the
At the
doctor
moment.
feeding?
It's at
At
Is,
the moment.
is,
Is. Fitting.
Is
doctor
treating.
treating.
Very good. Now the next one has the word plan. Plan plus infinitive or gerund?
Jaron.
Infinitive. No, infinitive.
Right. So
Infinitive.
plans
To.
to
to
begin.
begin. All right. The teacher asked the students what?
Don't use.
Again, same thing, verb and object. Remember, ask and tell,
Not to use.
Not
not
to use.
to use. Right. The next one, Sam, when he cut his back.
Cutting. Cutting.
Was cutting.
Was cutting.
Was cutting wood.
There we go. Was cutting wood when he hurt his back.
Okay.
All right. No problems there?
A little bit.
A little bit. Just hold on a second. I'm going to send a message to Claudia because she's having big problems tonight. Pobrecita. Let me see if I can get her in here somehow. All right, let me see, Claudia. Claudia, here we go. Let's try her. Sorry about this, students. I feel bad for poor Claudia.
It's okay.
I see you trying to get into the class. Maybe try again with the code number. Okay. Okay, so hopefully Claudia gets that message and is saved. Poor girl. All right, anyway, let me stop the share for a second and see who did make it inside. Oh, I see. Oh, maybe Claudia is here. Are you there, Claudia? Maybe? I don't know. I see Claudia's name there. All right, let's see. So we have Julio and Ching and Jose and Isadora and Edith and Rosendo and Noel and Leonardo's here. Oh, Leonardo's here twice. Okay, but you're here.
Yeah,
Good. You were having some problems, Leonardo, huh?
yeah, a little problem.
I don't know what's going on. Something's wrong with the connection tonight. Oh, there's Claudia.
Yeah.
Hello, hello, Claudia. Pobrecita. You were trying so many times to get inside.
Yes, I tried.
You are a committed, dedicated student. I don't know if I would have tried that many times. I would have given up after 4 or 5 times, I think. All right. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm always glad you're here. So here it was. Memorial Day is over.
Okay.
So we are in the home stretch, aren't we? So remember, we have 3 classes this week, and then we have 4 and 4. So we have total 11 more classes to go before the end of the semester. Now, at the end of this week, I'm going to give everybody a practice test for your level, okay? So you can take that practice test to see how you're feeling about. Now remember, because this is a very strange trimester, if you don't want to take the final test, no problem. You can say, teacher, just keep me in the same level. I'm fine. That's no problem. But if you want to take the final test and see where you are, I can give you that test. I'll give it to you. Like I said, at the end of this week, I'll give you a practice test. That will give you a good idea if it's worth taking the final test or not. Right? Once you take the practice test, you can say, my score was pretty good. I want to try the next level. Or if you say, my score was not so good. Maybe I should stay in this level. Right? So the practice test will give you a good feeling. So I'm going to give you that test at the end of this week to do on the weekend. It will be in the Schoology app. So I hope everybody has their Schoology app up and working, and you know how to get in and get out. And then next week, after the weekend, next Monday, I want you to tell me, yes, teacher, I want to take the final. Or, no, teacher, I pass. I'll just stay in the same level for next semester. So it's your decision. Right. Again, there's no summer school at night, unfortunately, but we can keep practicing with the Schoology app and all the things on there. There's a lot of practice material there. So I will try to send you practices and videos through the app during the summer, and then we'll be back in August, hopefully in the classroom. Well, if you can go shopping for sneakers at Big 5, we should be able to go to have an English class, right?
Yeah.
Maybe in August. We'll see. We'll see what the principals decide. Right now, no information. So I'll keep you posted as soon as I hear anything. Okay, so tonight, like I said, we're going to talk about using all of our modals, should, could, may, might, must, in past. And the modals have a little bit of a different idea when we use them in past. So we have to talk about that tonight. Does that sound like a good plan for the evening? Sounds
Yes.
good to me, right? Sounds good to me. So let's jump right in tonight. It's kind of hot tonight, isn't it? Muggy. I need to take a shower after this class. All sweaty. All right. So let's jump right into our presentation tonight, and then we'll talk. We'll practice a little bit more. We're also going to watch a little video and talk about that, and do some reading if we have time as well. Okay. So let's jump right in. If I can find the proper field here. Okay. Let me see here. All right. Slideshow. From beginning. Okay. All right. Can everybody see the slide?
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody sees it? Okay. I'm going to put all the mics on mute for a second so we can have nice, quiet times when we do our presentation. Okay. There we go. We're going to practice in a minute, but I'll put all of your mics off for now so we don't have too much distraction when we're trying to study. Okay, so perfect modals. Perfect modals. What is a perfect modal? Well, a perfect modal is a modal that we use not in the present, but in the past. So let's take a look at those. Here we go. First, we need to learn the form. We already practiced it a little bit last week when we had should have and shouldn't have, right? That was for past mistakes. So let's take a look at the form. Here's your affirmative form, right? Modal, have, past participle. And the negative, modal, not, have, past participle. Notice in the negative, the not is over here. Remember, we practiced that last week. You shouldn't have done that. Notice we don't use has. It's always have. It's always have. It doesn't matter if it's singular or plural because the modal never changes. Let's look at some examples. This is the one we talked about last week. I should have stayed home today. I am feeling sick. Should have stayed home. Modal, have, past participle. Of course, past participle of a regular verb, ed. I don't have my textbook. I must have left it at home. Again, modal, have, past participle. Jeremy might have taken notes yesterday. I will ask him about it. Modal, have, past participle. Leah was lucky to be alive after the accident. She could have died. She could have died. Modal, have, past participle. Let's investigate the meanings of all these forms. But all the forms are the same, right? Modal, have, past participle. Modal, have, past participle. Modal, have, past participle. Modal, have, past participle. All of them the same. So these five are going to be the same. May have, might have, could have, should have, must have. Let's take a look. This one we talked about last week. Past advice, past regrets, should have, shouldn't have. Right? In the past, we use should and shouldn't to indicate that somebody made a mistake or has a regret about the past. By definition, it is an opinion about the past. Right? In my estimation, you did something wrong. For example, I shouldn't have bought this printer. It's too slow. Remember, when I say that, it means I bought the printer. I bought the printer, but it was a mistake. You should have been more polite talking to the customer. So what does it mean? It means you were not polite. You were rude. You made a mistake. The customer got angry. You should have been more polite. Peter should have called us when he knew he was running late. Should have called us. Should have called us. Again, past participle. We don't like our new home. We shouldn't have moved. We shouldn't have moved. We made a mistake. We made a mistake. We liked our old house better. We shouldn't have moved. The bus should have come 10 minutes ago. What's wrong? I expected the bus to come, but it didn't come. What happened? Right? Remember, this form is always the opposite of what really happened. And we were practicing that a lot yesterday. Not yesterday, last Thursday. Right? I ate a hamburger, but I should have eaten a salad. I took the bus, but I should have taken the subway. I turned left, but I should have turned right, etc., etc., etc. Advices, regrets, should have, shouldn't have. That's what we talked about last week. Now something new. Conclusions in the past. Conclusion meaning you see some evidence and you make a conclusion. What are we going to use? Must or must not, plus have, plus past participle. A conclusion about what probably happened in the past. We don't have proof, but we have good evidence. I feel pretty confident when I use must have. I'm pretty confident in what I'm saying. For example, I have looked everywhere in the house for my wallet, but I can't find it here. I must have left it at the office. I think so. I think so. You must have been proud when your son graduated. You must have been proud. I suppose. I think so. Peter didn't turn around when I called his name. He must not have heard me in the crowd. Right? Peter's in that crowd somewhere. Maybe that's him with the hat on. I say, Peter, Peter, Peter. He doesn't turn around. Well, I say, that's odd. He must not have heard me. He must not have heard me. Remember, this always indicates the best guess about what probably happened. I think so. It's like saying probably. I think so. I think so. Now, I'm going to switch to the board for a second because I realize there's one thing I want to tell you that is not in the presentation. All right, can everybody see the board? Give me a thumbs up if you see the board. Thumbs up? Yes? Okay, very good. All right, so I want to talk about must have versus had to. Remember, in present, must and have to are basically both for obligation, right? Notice in present, right? So for example, you must pay the bill. You have to pay the bill. Más o menos the same thing, right? Más o menos the same thing. But in past, these two are different. And I'm going to put on the microphones for just a second so we can talk about this. Hello, everybody.
Teacher.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So what did I say? I said these two on the top here are más o menos the same thing, right? You must, you have to. Same thing, basically. But I said these two are different. Victor must have gone to the store. Victor had to go to the store. When I say must have, what is that? You're saying, I think so. I'm not sure, but I think so. Oh, where's Victor? I don't know. He must have gone to the store. He was talking about going to the store earlier, right? That's a past conclusion. But on the other hand, Victor had to go to the store, means it was necessary. Right? So past conclusion past obligation, had to plus base verb. So, for example, if you say, I went to a private school when I was young and I had to wear a uniform, right? I had to wear a uniform, right? Past tense, obligation. But on the other hand, I say, oh, this shirt is dirty. My son must have worn it yesterday. My son must have worn it yesterday, right? One is a conclusion, one is an obligation. The first one, must have, I'm not so sure. I'm confident, but not positive. In the second one, I'm talking about an obligation I had in the past. So most of the time, we're going to use this one. Had to. Right? Does everybody have that written down? Yes?
Yes, teacher. Yes.
So let me look at you for a second so I can explain this a little better. Must have is what the detective says, right? The detective looks at the evidence, finds the clues, and then he says, aha! I know that Mr. Jones must have done the murder, right? ¿Por qué? Did Mr. Jones say, yes, I did the murder? No, Mr. Jones said, no, 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 right? But I see the evidence and I say, aha, Mr. Jones must have killed his wife, right? My conclusion. my conclusion, my detective work. He must have done it, right? Because I saw all the clues and I made a conclusion. Had to, different story, right? Had to, there's no mystery. There's no mystery with had to. It's just a past obligation, right? Oh, why didn't you go to the party last night? I had to work, right? No mystery. It's just an obligation, right? So think of the detective when you think of must have. The detective says, aha, this must have happened. The robber must have come through this window because the window is broken, right? He must have opened the door with a hammer because I can see a hammer stain, a hammer indentation on the door knob. Aha, aha, aha. That's what must have is. When you're making conclusions about what happened. You're not there, but you can make a conclusion. And we're going to practice this in a little bit with a video. Had to is what we learned back in level 3 and level 2. Past tense obligation, my responsibility. So what makes more sense? Does it make more sense to say I had to babysit last night or I must have babysat last night? What makes sense? I had to babysit or I must have babysat?
I had.
I had to, right? It's my obligation that I had yesterday.
To babysit.
I had to babysit yesterday, so I couldn't come to class. Now, on the other hand, if I go outside and I look at my flowers and my flowers are destroyed, I say, oh, an animal had to eat my flowers or an animal must have eaten my flowers?
Animal must have.
An animal must have eaten my flowers. I didn't see it happen, but I look at the evidence and I say, aha, an animal must have eaten those flowers. Okay, so do you feel comfortable with that difference? Must have, had to.
I think so.
One is a conclusion, one is an obligation, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's turn off the mics again and let's return to the presentation. Because sometimes we're not so sure, right? When you say must have, you're pretty confident. But sometimes we're not so sure. So let's look at those instances. Next. Moving along here. Here we go. All right, so here's my conclusion, right? Aha. This is the aha idea. Now, if you're not so sure, when you're less certain about what happened, we can use may, might, and could. Now, the video I sent you was about may and might, but I'm going to put could in here too. Could is a little bit different, but they're all three about possibilities. Maybe it happened. I'm not sure, but maybe it happened. Example. Why did Lucy drop out of school? I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. She may have found a job. Or she might have transferred to another school. Or she could have thought that the material was too difficult. She may have, she might have, she could have, but I don't know. So this little guy is wondering, I wonder, what happened? I don't know, right? This is not the detective. This is the person who's just giving ideas. Right? These are just ideas. Maybe this, maybe that, maybe this, I don't know. Right? It's just ideas. Right? These forms are the same as saying maybe with simple past tense. So maybe she found a job. She may have found a job. Maybe she transferred to another school. She might have transferred to another school. Maybe she thought the material was too difficult. She could have thought the material was too difficult. Maybe, 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 maybe. She may have, she might have, she could have. She may have, she might have, she could have. All right? Now, could have, we can use for a different thing. We sometimes use could have to indicate a missed opportunity or something that almost happened but didn't. What do I mean? Let me give you a couple examples. My younger cousin dropped out of school because of his finances. It was such a shame. He could have been a doctor. He could have been a doctor, but he missed his opportunity because of his financial problems. He could have been a doctor, but he wasn't. He had a chance, but he missed his chance. It was foolish to skateboard on that busy street. You're lucky nobody hit you with a car. You could have gotten hurt. You could have gotten hurt. Could have gotten. Again, it was possible, but it didn't happen. It was possible, but it didn't happen. Same thing with the first one, right? It was possible, but it didn't happen. It was possible, but it didn't happen. It could have happened. Maybe. Be careful, though. We got to be careful. ¿Por qué? Now we have two different ways to use could in the past. I could swim when I was a kid. Remember this one from level 2? Right? Could for past ability, right? I could swim when I was a kid. Right? There's a little kid swimming around. I could swim when I was a kid. I could speak English when I came to the United States. Past ability. But we can also use could have. I could have swum at the party, but I didn't have my swimsuit. I could have swum at the party, but I didn't have my swimsuit. A missed opportunity. I had the chance, but I didn't do it. I had the chance, but I didn't do it. Negative. We got to be careful about negative too. When we talk about negative possibilities in past, may, might not have, may not have are similar, but couldn't have indicates the action was impossible. For example, why didn't Luis go to the soccer game? I don't know. He might not have had time. I don't know. Maybe he didn't have time. I think I saw Julio at the soccer game. He couldn't have gone to the game. He was with me all day. That's impossible. That's impossible. That couldn't have happened. That couldn't have happened. That's impossible. All right, you ready for some practice? Let me turn on our microphones again. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Everybody back in business? Here we go. Your microphones are on, so don't say anything embarrassing. All right. All right, so let's do some practice tonight. See if we can hit that target like in the picture here. All right. So can you change these sentences to include a perfect modal? So we're going to have to think about the meaning of the sentence. let's look at the first one here. Maybe Victor sold his car. Now, let's take out the word maybe. Let's throw that word maybe away, and let's see if I can say the same idea with a modal. What could we say? If we start with the word Victor. Victor? When it's something is possible, like maybe, what do we want to say? What's the modal to use
May.
for it? May or might or could, right? May or might or could.
Might.
So
Victor may.
Victor might have
might
sold his
have
car
sold
or
his
may
car.
have sold his car, right? He may have sold his car. He might have sold his car. Maybe. Maybe. So the first sentence and the second sentence mean the same thing. Meaning, I don't know, but it's possible. I don't know, but it's possible. Let's try another one. I regret that I didn't go to the concert. I regret that I didn't go. When you talk about regret, what do you use? Should have, must have, may have, might have, could have. When you have a regret. When you say, oh, stupido, stupido, stupido. When you're angry at yourself, what do you say?
I must.
No, must means probably I did.
Oh.
When you made a mistake, what do we say?
I shouldn't.
I should. So what are we going to say here? I didn't go to the concert, but I
should.
I should
I
have.
should
You have gone to the concert?
There we go. I should have gone to the concert, right? The first sentence and the second sentence mean the same thing. I regret that I didn't go. I really should have gone. I regret that I didn't go. I really should have gone. You're saying the same thing. I should have gone to the concert. I made a mistake. I made a mistake. Number 3, I missed a chance to win the match. I missed a chance to win the match. How do we talk about missed opportunities? Remember, which one was missed opportunities? May have, might have, could have, should have, must have. I missed my chance. I
could.
I could have, right.
I could have.
I could have won the match. I had a chance, but I missed it. I had a chance. I had an opportunity, but I missed it. I could have won the match. I missed my chance. I had a chance, but I missed it. I had a chance, but I missed it. I could have won. Number 4, Louisa probably didn't understand my question. She probably didn't understand the question. Now this one is going to be negative. So should we say shouldn't, must not, couldn't? Not in this case.
Luisa couldn't understand.
Well, couldn't understand means I'm sure. Right?
Didn't
We want to say
understand.
probably not.
Oh, probably not understand my question.
Right, but how do we, what's the modal we use to say probably?
She must not.
Must not, exactly.
She must not.
She must not have understood my question.
She must not understood my question. She must not understand my question.
I'm not sure, but that's what I think. I'm not sure, but that's what I think. She must not have understood my question.
She must not understand my question.
Right? I said, how are you? And she said, 28 years old. What? She must not have understood my question. All right. So let's look at all of these 4 before we go to the next page. Might have, a possibility in the past. should have a mistake in the past, could have a missed opportunity, and must have a conclusion about what happened. Okay, should we try some more?
Yes.
Why not?
Yes.
Maybe Jason didn't do his homework. Maybe Jason didn't do his homework. So when it's maybe, what do we want to say?
She might.
May or might, right?
She might not.
Might,
Jason might.
may
She
not.
might not
Have
have
done
done.
his homework.
May not, might not. Both are good.
Jason might not have done his homework.
He may not have done his homework. Well, why didn't Jason answer any of the questions in the class? I don't know. He may not have done his homework. It's a possibility in the past. He may not have done his homework. I regret buying that computer. I made a mistake. Right? So what am I going to say? For mistakes, what do we say?
Shouldn't.
I shouldn't
Have
Bought.
have bought.
Have bought.
Exactly.
computer.
I shouldn't have bought that computer. That was a big mistake.
You shouldn't have bought the
That was a
computer.
big mistake. I shouldn't have bought that computer. What a mistake. That's a terrible computer. I shouldn't have bought it. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have bought the computer.
I shouldn't have bought the computer.
Maybe
I shouldn't.
Frank took my pencil. Maybe Frank took my pencil. When it's maybe, what do I say?
Frank
He
may
May have not.
may
May
have
He
Taken.
might
May have
took-
May have
Should-
taken or
taken-
might have taken. Both are
may
May
have
fine.
taken
taken the pencil.
May or might, no problem.
May
Might.
have taken my pencil.
might have taken my pencil.
Remember, may have, might have, no problem.
Taken my pencil. Okay. Okay.
Probably, this one's a probably, Vanessa bought these groceries. Probably Vanessa bought these groceries. What can I say about probably?
Me?
Probably Vanessa bought this.
It's probably may, might, or must.
Vanessa,
May.
Vanessa
Vanessa must
Must
What?
have
Vanessa
bought
must have
bought the
bought
groceries,
these
exactly.
groceries.
groceries.
Vanessa must
Vanessa
have
must
bought
have
these
bought
groceries.
the groceries.
She must have bought these groceries. She
Mhm.
must have bought the
Bought the
groceries.
groceries.
Must have bought. Okay,
These groceries or the groceries?
either one. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
if I say these groceries, obviously there's some groceries in front of me.
Okay, so it's the same.
Well, it's not exactly the same, but it could be.
Okay,
They're both possible.
all right.
All right. I almost got hit by that train. What do we use for something that almost happened, but didn't? It was
I
possible,
could.
but I what?
I could.
I could, exactly. I could
have
have
gotten
gotten.
Hit
I could
I
have
could
gotten hit by that
gotten
train.
hit with-
by the
Good.
I could have got hit by that. I could have gotten hit by that train. I could have gotten hit. I didn't get hit, but it was really
I
close.
could have gotten.
It was really close. I barely escaped. It was a narrow escape. I could have gotten hit by the train. Right? It was almost an accident. I almost had an accident. All right. One last one. I made a mistake when I didn't eat breakfast. I made a mistake when I didn't eat breakfast.
I should.
Mhm.
I should have eaten
There you go. Very good. I should have eaten breakfast.
breakfast.
I should have eaten breakfast. Should have eaten. So let's look at these carefully one more time, right? Why am I using may here? Because it's a possibility. Why am I using should in number 6? Because it's a mistake. Number 7, might. Remember, may and might are both for possibilities. Why am I using must in number 8? Because it's a conclusion. Why am I using could in number 9? Because it's something that almost happened, but didn't. It was possible, but it didn't happen. And why am I using should in number 10? Otra vez? A mistake. A mistake. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Grumpy says, I should have listened to my teacher more carefully. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. It's difficult, huh? All right, so let's take a look very quickly here at, oops. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Let's do a quick summary on the board. Let me open up the board here for a second and we'll do a quick summary. Sounds good? Everybody ready for a summary?
Yes.
All right. Let me see here. Let me erase what we have here. Get my eraser out. Okay. All right. Past modals. So, should have, shouldn't have, indicate mistakes, right? Must have and must not have indicate conclusions. When you say this is what probably happened. This is what probably happened. May have and may not have indicate possibilities. And of course, all of these need past participle. Might have and might not have are the same. If I can spell possibility correctly. Again, when you want to say maybe. Could have and couldn't have mean opportunities, right? Could have, I had an opportunity. Couldn't have, I never had an opportunity. I had the opportunity, but I missed it. Couldn't have, I didn't have the opportunity at all. All right, I'll give you a chance to copy that down and then we're going to practice some more. Little more complicated than what I've got written on the board, but this, if you remember this, you'll be fine. When I want to talk about mistakes that I make, I say, oh, I should have done this. I shouldn't have done that. When I want to talk about things I think happened, but I'm not 100% sure, I say, oh, it must have happened this way, or this must not have happened. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why did he fall out of the seat? He must not have had his seatbelt on. Right? My conclusion. May not, might not, again, are both possibles. May and might, possibilities. And could and couldn't, past opportunities. So those are the past modals. There are five modals that we use in past. Okay, does everybody have that copied down?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
No, teacher, no. Give
Not
me just
yet.
a second, please. Not
Okay,
yet.
1 second. Okay, I'm waiting.
Might have. Might not have.
So you say, oh, I ate too many cheeseburgers. I shouldn't have eaten those cheeseburgers. I can't find my keys. I must have left them in my car.
Might have.
Right? I wonder why Antonio left the movie. He might not have liked it.
Might not have.
Or he may have had to go somewhere. Right? I'm very disappointed. I could have gone to the game last night, but I stayed home and did nothing. I had an opportunity, but I didn't take it. I missed my opportunity.
Couldn't.
Okay? Everybody got
Okay.
it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. All right, let's practice a little bit more if I can find the correct page here. ¿Dónde está? So many pages. Here we go. We're going to practice a little bit together. All right, can everybody see the page?
Yes.
What do you see? Do you see it says English practice?
Yes.
English practice.
Past possibilities.
English practice, past possibilities. Okay. And what do you see in that picture?
Plate and a
The
fork.
empty plate.
An empty plate. Somebody ate my cake. Oh.
Big mistake.
This is not good. All right. So let's look at this little dialogue I have here. A says, hey, who ate the last piece of cake? B says, I don't know. Don't look at me. Carla might have eaten it. Well, why don't you ask her? Sorry, it shouldn't be him. It should be her. Carla might have eaten it. Why don't you ask her? Carla might have eaten it. Why don't you ask her? So ate is simple past, right? I know somebody ate the cake. And we say, Carla might have eaten it. Might have eaten it. Okay, got the idea?
Hey.
All right.
Who ate the last piece of cake?
Everybody got it? Hey, who ate the last piece of cake? I don't know. Carla might have eaten it. Why don't you ask her? Okay, so here we have a bunch of verbs and a possible suspect. Right? We have a bunch of verbs and we have a possible suspect. So we're going to use might have or may have, and we're going to name this person. Okay, everybody got the idea?
Yes.
All right, so let's do the first one together and then we'll do the others one by one. Students, who took my dictionary?
Who took my dictionary?
dictionary?
No, I'm asking you. Who took my dictionary?
I don't
So you say, I don't know.
I don't know.
No. Ricardo.
Ricardo
Might
might have
taken
taken it.
Taken.
Right.
It.
your
Why don't you
dictionary.
ask him, right?
Why
You
don't
don't
you
ask
do you
him.
ask
Him.
Right. So
Him.
Ricardo might have taken it. Why don't you ask him? Ricardo might have taken it. Okay? Everybody got the idea?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so let's practice this a little bit. Let's start with number 2, and let's start with Jing. Are you ready, Jing?
Yes.
Who broke this window?
I don't know. I don't know the. I don't know the neighbor kids might have broken it. Why don't you ask her
Them.
then?
Yeah, why don't you ask them? All right, good. Very good. Might have broken, right? All right, students, who broke the window?
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
The neighbor kids
The neighbor
The neighbor kids
might have
have
broken
I
it.
have broken
it.
Why don't you ask them?
I have broken it.
Why don't you ask them?
All right, good. Guadalupe, how about number 3? Hey, who used my laptop?
I don't know who could use the laptop. Why you don't ask
Oh,
them?
you gotta look at Melanie.
Melanie? Oh,
So I don't know. Melanie.
I don't know. Ah, shit.
I don't know.
I don't know. Punto.
I don't know. I don't know, Melanie. Might use the laptop.
Might have used, right?
Might have used the laptop. Why you don't ask her?
Why don't you ask her? Okay, I will. Thank you. Thank you for the advice. All right, so students, who used my laptop?
I
don't
know.
Melanie might have
used it.
used
it.
Why don't you ask her?
Why don't you ask her?
Very good. All right, let's see. How about Edith?
Yes, teacher.
Edith, hey,
Rose?
who rode my bicycle?
Okay. I don't know. Carla might
No,
have...
your brother, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. I don't know. My brother might have ridden it. Why don't you ask him?
Why don't you ask him? Good. All right, so students, who rode my bicycle?
I
don't know. Your brother might have ridden it. Why don't you ask him?
Don't ask him.
All right, now here's somebody very terrible, a very terrible person. All right, Rosendo, who drank the last beer? Oh no.
I don't know. Beto might have drunk, right? Drunk it. Why don't you ask him?
Right. All right, very good. Class, who drank the last beer?
I don't
know. Beto might have drunk. Why don't you ask him?
Why you don't ask him?
Very good. Okay, good. Next one. Let's see. How about Julio? Julio,
yes.
Who made this delicious pasta salad?
I don't know. And Emily may have made. Why don't you ask her?
Right. Aunt Emily might have made it, right? Why don't you ask her?
Emily.
All right, students, who made this delicious pasta salad?
I don't know.
I don't know.
And Emily
might have made it.
Why don't you ask her?
Why you don't ask her?
All right, let's see. Leonardo. Are you there, Leonardo? Yes? No? Not Leonardo? How about Claudia? Claudia, are you there? Claudia?
I disconnect.
Are they disconnected?
Yes, teacher, I'm here.
Oh, Claudia's here. Okay, Claudia, who forgot his umbrella?
know.
I don't know.
Michael might have forgotten it. Why don't you ask him?
Good. Students, who forgot his umbrella?
I
I
don't
I don't know.
know. Michael
Michael
might
might
may
have
have
forgotten it.
Forgotten.
it.
Why
Why
don't
don't you
you
ask
ask
him?
him?
Why don't you
him?
ask
Ask
him?
him.
All right. Let's see. How about Noel?
Yes.
Who left this dirty plate in the sink? Oh, no.
I don't know. Kelly might have left it. Why don't you ask her?
Why don't you ask her? Good. Students, who left this dirty plate in the sink?
I
I don't know.
know.
Kelly
Might
might have left
Kelly
it.
may have left it.
Why don't
Left
Why
it.
don't you
Why
ask
don't
her?
you ask
Ask her.
her?
Good. Let's see. How about, let's see, who haven't I asked yet? Jose. Jose, who got this parking ticket?
Jose.
I don't know.
Jose.
Is Jose there?
Why
Jose Garcia, are you there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, there we go. Jose Garcia.
I
Who,
don't
Yes.
know.
number 9, who got this parking ticket?
I don't know. Your wife might have gotten it. Why do you not ask her?
Good. Students, who got this parking ticket?
I don't
I don't
know.
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 Your wife
Might have
might have gotten it.
Gotten it.
Why don't you ask
Why
her?
don't
Don't
you
you
ask
ask
him?
her?
All right. Let's see. Leonarda, are you there, Leonarda? Yes? No? She doesn't have her microphone on. Maybe unmute her. Leonarda, are you there? Leonarda has no microphone.
Yes.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Yeah, I hear. I
Okay,
hear.
okay, you're here. Good, good, good. All right, Leonarda, how about number 10? Who spilled soda all over the table?
I don't know. Olivia.
No, it's little Joey. Little Joey.
Oh, okay. I don't know. A little Joy might have spilling neck.
Spilled.
It. Why don't know asking him?
Yeah, right. Everybody knows that word spill?
Yes.
No, what is a spill?
Spill is when you have a glass of water or a glass of wine or a glass of beer and you drop it. All the water comes out of your glass. You spill.
What is the past spill?
Spill. It's regular verb.
Spill, ed?
Ed, spilled. Yeah, who spilled soda? It's a regular verb, spill. Right? If you have a fork, you drop it, right? Oh, I dropped my fork. But if you have a glass of water, you spill it. Understand the difference?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, no problem? Okay, good.
No problem.
All right, we got a couple more here. All right. Let's see. How about Julio for number 11? Julio,
Okay.
who cleaned the break room?
I don't know. Olivia may have cleaned it. Why don't you ask her?
Very good. Class, who cleaned the break room?
I don't
I
know.
don't know. Olivia might have
cleaned it. Why don't you ask her?
Ask her.
Good. How about Guadalupe for number 12? Who wrote this memo?
I don't know where is Guadalupe?
Guadalupe disappeared?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, no Guadalupe. All right. How about Noel? Are you there, Noel?
Yes.
Noel, who wrote this memo?
Okay, I'm not sure. Lisa.
Oh, no,
No,
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson might have written this
Written
memo.
this memo.
Right. Why don't you ask him?
Why don't you ask him?
Good. All right. let's see. How about Rosendo?
Yes.
Who found my cell phone?
Oh,
I don't know.
Lisa
Lisa
have,
might
have
have found
found
your cell phone.
Why
Why
don't you
don't
ask
you
her?
ask? When do you ask her?
Why don't you ask her? Okay, good. All right, class. Who found my cell phone?
I don't know.
I don't know.
No.
Lisa
Lisa
might
might
have
have
Might
found
found
it.
it.
Why
Why don't you
don't
ask her?
you
Why don't you ask her?
Why did
Sure.
you ask her?
Okay, let's see. And how about Claudia? Who painted graffiti on this wall?
I don't know. Some taggers might have painted it. Why don't you ask them?
Don't like taggers. They're not my friends. They have gotten my fence many times.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 times since I lived in my house, they've gotten me. Yeah.
Wow.
Because I have a very big fence with wood fence in my backyard, and it's right
Oh
next
my
to the
God.
street. And the taggers come along and they put the graffiti and no me gusta.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So students, who painted graffiti on this wall?
I
I don't know. Some taggers
Targets
might
may
have
have
painted it.
Paint it.
Why don't you ask them?
Why don't
Why
you
don't
ask
you ask
them?
All right. And finally, how about Isadora? Are you ready?
Yes,
Who lost the key to the supply room?
I don't know. David might have lost. Why you don't ask him?
Why don't you ask him? David
Why
might have
don't
lost
you
it.
ask him?
Very good, very good. No problems, everybody? So what were we using every time? We were using might.
Might.
But we could also use may, right?
May.
Both are acceptable. May or might. May or might, because it's a possibility in the past. It's a possibility in the past. Maybe it happened. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Okay?
Okay.
All right, good. All right, let's do a little more practice. All right, we're going to do a little more practice, then we're going to watch a video and then discuss it. All right, I'm going to give you some evidence and I want you to make a conclusion. Now, when we have a conclusion, what do we use?
Must have.
Must have and must not have. Good.
Must not
Good.
have.
Good. All right.
must have.
Must have, must not have. All right. Why don't I start with Jose Garcia this time? All right. So, Jose Garcia, let's say you wake up and you see your vase is broken, your flower vase is broken, and sitting next to the flower vase is your cat. So what is your conclusion?
Conclusion. My cat must have broken the base of
Right, the cat must have broken the vase, right? Because the vase is broken, the cat is right there. Aha! A cat must have broken that vase. Okay, good. All right, let's see. Claudia.
Yes.
What happens? You walk out into your front yard and you see a big hole in your yard. What is your conclusion?
Okay. Animal might have done the hole.
Must have dug the hole, right? An animal must have dug that hole, right? An animal must have dug that hole, right? That's your best guess. That's your conclusion, right? You see a big hole in your yard, you say, aha, gopher, the topo, right?
Yeah.
The gopher must have dug a hole in my yard. All right. Good. All right. Edith.
Yes.
What would you think if you saw an ambulance parked next to your neighbor's house?
It's a conclusion, teacher.
What is your conclusion about that? Yeah.
My conclusion is the ambulance. Yeah, the ambulance must have the ambulance must have
my neighbor must
have
gotten sick.
Must have
Well, let's make a conclusion about the neighbor. If I see an ambulance in front of my neighbor's house, what could I say? Oh, my neighbor
must have an accident.
Must have had some kind of medical emergency, right?
An emergency.
My neighbor must have had a medical emergency. Right. Good. All right. What would you conclude, Leonardo? What would you conclude if you saw some people driving around their neighborhood, honking their horn, and they have a sign "Class of 2020" on their car? What conclusion can you make?
My neighbor must have a birthday party.
Graduation.
Must have graduated from high school, right? High school or college. They must have graduated this year.
Must have graduated,
right?
Graduated.
Yeah. If there's a big sign, "Class of 2020," and they're driving around the neighborhood, do they do that in your neighborhood? Every so often, the high school kids drive around, beep, 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 woo! 2020 graduate.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been doing that for the last few weeks. Right, so they had a little caravan, right? A caravan of cars of graduates. You say, oh, those kids must have graduated from high school this year. They must have graduated from high school.
Or my neighborhoods must have celebrated the birthday the last week.
Right, exactly.
In front of my house.
Right. Possibility, that's for sure. All right.
Celebrate the birthday.
All right, for sure. All right. Claudia, what is your conclusion if you're driving by the church on Saturday and there's a woman in a beautiful white dress out in the front and everybody is throwing the rice and cheering? What is your conclusion?
That maybe she could be the wife, or
right, or maybe more than could be, right? Probably must. So she must have just gotten married, right? She must have just gotten married. She must have just gotten married. That's a good conclusion. All right.
They must have gotten married. Okay.
All right. Let's see. Julio, what is your conclusion if you come outside to your car and you see a big dent in the fender?
Someone must hit my car.
Must have hit your car. Exactly. Somebody must have hit your car during the night. Somebody must have run into your car during the night. It's happened to me a few times. Your car parked on the street and somebody crashes into your car. No me gusta. All right. Let's see. Isadora. Your neighbor's house has a for sale sign out in front. And then 2 weeks later, the sign is gone. What is your conclusion?
My conclusion is my neighbor might have sold the house.
Must have sold the house, right? The sign, it's not for sale anymore. So they must have sold the house. They must have sold the house. All right. Ching.
Fine.
What if there is a patient in the hospital and then after 2 weeks, he goes home? He went home. What is your conclusion?
The patient might have recovered.
He must have recovered, right? That's why he's going home. He must have recovered. I think so. Probably, right?
Yes.
I think so. Probably. The patient must have recovered. All right. Let me see. How about Rosendo? Are you ready for a conclusion, Rosendo?
Yes.
What is your conclusion if you're driving down the street and you see a young man in handcuffs and the police officer is nearby?
Arrested.
He must have
Arrested.
He must have arrested.
Must have been arrested, right? That kid must have been arrested. Right, very good. Noel.
Yes, I hear.
What is your conclusion if you see a new car parked in front of your neighbor's house?
My neighbor must have bought a new car.
You must have bought a new car. Yeah, look at that new car in front of my neighbor's house. A little envious. Let's see. Guadalupe, are you there?
Teacher.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Give me a conclusion. What is your conclusion if you look at your neighbor's house and there are a lot of beer cans in the yard?
A beer cans?
There
That
are a
means
lot
they
of beer
have.
cans in the yard, and it's in the morning. You get up in the morning, you look out to your neighbor's house, and look, all those beer cans in the yard. Oh my goodness!
That mean they have party the day before.
Right. So use must. What can you say?
They must drunk a lot.
They must have drunk a lot of beer. They must have had a big party over at that house last night.
Yes.
Right. They must have had a party at that house.
They must have party last night and have a
must
lot
have
of beers.
had a party.
Didn't clean.
They didn't clean it up. No, not at all. All right. Good. Are we ready to do a little more practice? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Let's do a little practice on paper, sort of, and then we're going to do some practice with a video. Sounds good?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to share the screen again. Are you guys feeling more comfortable with all of these?
Yes.
Yes, good. Okay. All right, Ching sounds enthusiastic. Okay, I like that. All right, let me see here. Oops, that's the wrong one to share. Hold on here. I have to get it to the right place here. There we go. Okay, open it up. Okay. Now, and let me share this screen again. Okay. New share. There we go. Okay, can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Now it says here, must have, might have, should have, and can't have. Now we didn't talk about can't have, but that's the same as couldn't have. I use can't have and couldn't have when something is impossible. So for example, John on holiday. I saw him downtown this morning. So we're going to say it's impossible. So we can say he can't have gone downtown. Right? That's my example. Couldn't have is what I would say. But this exercise says can't have, so that's fine. All right. All right. So it says here, nobody answered the phone at the clinic. It
Might
closed
have.
early.
It might have.
But nobody answered the phone. So should we say
Should
might
have.
have or must have?
Must have.
Must have. It's a little stronger than might have, right? It must have. It must have closed early, I suppose. I think so. All right, the next one. I revised more for my exam. I think I failed. I think I will fail. So I didn't study very hard. So what are we going to say? I should have.
I should have.
Good.
I should have.
Okay. The next one.
Teacher, how do you spell that the word revised?
Revised. This must be from a different country. We usually say reviewed.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why they said revised. Personally, in America, we say reviewed. So I don't know why they said revised. That means something different for me. All right. Number 4. Sarah looks very pleased with herself. She passed her driving test. Well, she looks very happy. We have some evidence.
She must have.
Must have. I would say must have for this one.
Must have.
Must have passed the driving test. Let's see. The next one says, I didn't know you were going to Phil's party yesterday.
You can
You must have, may have, or might have.
You should.
Oh, sorry. Must have, should have, or might have.
Might have.
You should.
You should have told me. You should have told me, right? You should have told me. I wanted to go to that party, right? You should have told me. All right. I can't believe Jim hasn't arrived yet. He
must have
caught the wrong train.
The wrong train.
Right. That's my conclusion. I can't believe Jim isn't home yet. He
should have. He can.
We will have can't have for that one. Yeah, that one's a little tricky. I would have said must not have, but they didn't give must not have as one of our choices. All right. Don't lie to me that you were ill. You, and this again is impossible. You can't have been ill. Impossible.
He only sick.
You were at place.
All right. I don't know where they went on holiday, but they bought euros before they left. So they
should have.
They
should have or might have.
Might have.
Might have, right? Maybe France or maybe Germany. I don't know. They might have gone to France or Germany. His number was busy all night.
He must been, and the phone concludes.
Have been.
He
must have, right. He must have been on the phone. And the last one, at Mickey, he didn't recognize me. So in American English, we say couldn't have been. But in this British English, they say can't have been.
It can have.
Can have been.
Yeah, typically in America, we say couldn't have been. All right, so let's see, mark our answers. What, 10 out of 11, what did they say? Number 5, they didn't like our answer to number 5. What did we answer for number 5? Oh, no, that's good. Number 5 is good. This is like a British English one, and we don't like British English. We like American English. So forget it. All right, good. All right, no problem so far?
No problem.
All right, okay. So last thing we're gonna do tonight, what did we say? When we have may have, might have, must have, it's about when we're not 100% sure about something. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a video. It's about 3 minutes long. It's about a mystery. Right? I want you to watch this video, and then I'm gonna ask you some questions about the video. And there's a lot of things they don't know about this mystery, so we're gonna have to use must have, may have, might have in our answers. Okay? So I'm going to play the video with no stop, about 3 minutes long, and then we're gonna come back together, and I'm going to ask you some questions. All right, does everybody sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good to me. All right, I'm going to turn off your microphones for a second. Microphones off. There we go. Okay, and now I'm going to go over here. And I'm going to turn on the video. Okay. 1 second, please. Just a second. There we go. Okay. All right. So let me share this video with you. Okay, screen share, share the sound, optimize for video, and push this button. And okay, all right. Do you see a picture with some puzzle pieces? All right, I hope so.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. All right. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. All right, so let's watch this video and then we'll talk about it.
Deep in the heart of England, by the side of a road, stands a massive stone monument that has mystified visitors for millennia. It is called Stonehenge, and it is an ancient stone circle, older than the pyramids of Giza. What little is known about its history has been pieced together by archaeologists, because it is so old that there is no written record of its construction or of its original purpose. Stonehenge is probably between 4,000 and 5,000 years old, and its construction was spread across hundreds or even thousands of years. It was used, among other things, as a place of burial. Some think it may also have been used as a calendar, or as a place to study the movements of the stars and worship the sun and moon. Although we may never know exactly why Stonehenge was built, most believe it was used for religious ceremonies. The earliest versions of Stonehenge were made of earthworks and niches, dug with tools made of antlers. This was eventually replaced by some kind of wooden structure, which was replaced in turn by circles of massive standing stones. The stones at Stonehenge were brought there over a period of several hundred years. The largest stones, called sarsens, measure up to 30 feet or 9 meters tall, and weigh an average of 25 tons. These stones were probably transported 20 miles or 32 kilometers to Stonehenge. Some of the smaller stones, called blue stones, are believed to have been brought from Wales, more than 140 miles or 225 kilometers away. Although they are smaller than the massive sarsens, the blue stones still weigh an average of 4 tons each, and archaeologists are baffled as to how they were transported so far without modern technology, or even the wheel. Some people think the stones were rolled on tree trunks, or dragged in huge baskets pulled by oxen. Others believe they were moved by boat, with the help of the nearby river Avon. However the stones were moved, they were placed with incredible precision. Certain stones in the ancient circle line up with the midsummer sunrise and the winter solstice sunset, marking the longest and shortest days of the year. Today, Stonehenge is a carefully protected World Heritage Site, visited by about 1 million people each year, and many people still visit Stonehenge at midsummer and midwinter to view the ancient phenomena that marks the rising and the setting of the sun, and wonder at the mysteries Stonehenge still hides. I hope you enjoyed learning about Stonehenge today. Goodbye till next time.
Okay. Okay, let me stop my share here. Turn on your microphones. Okay, is everybody there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you able to hear okay?
Yes.
The report?
Also.
Okay, so let me ask you some questions, just see how much you learned about that. And so number one, where is this site? What country is it in?
England.
England, right?
England.
It's in England, right? It's in England. Very good, very good. And how old is it?
Like
4,000 or 5,000
Or
years.
5,000 years old. Is it older or newer than the pyramids in Egypt?
older.
Older than the pyramids in Egypt. Older than the pyramids in Egypt. Okay, so now there's a few mysteries about it. All right. So number one, the first mystery is, what was it used for? What were some ideas that they mentioned in the video? Why did they use it?
For ceremonies?
They might have used it for a ceremony, right? They might have used it for a ceremony, right? For ceremonies. And what else was another possibility?
To note which dates were the like the long.
What was unique about the position of the rocks?
The blue stone?
The rocks were positioned in a way that what?
Like
The sun.
See the sunrise?
They were lined up
Sunrise.
exactly with the sunrise on the solstice, right? You
Yes.
have that word in Spanish, solstice, yes? Solstice, you have that word in Spanish? Summer solstice and winter solstice?
No.
The first day of summer we call summer solstice, right? The first day in winter we call winter solstice.
Oh, okay.
The first day of the season, right?
Okay.
The longest and the shortest day, right?
The longest and the shortest day?
Of the year. So what happens on that day? On that day when the sun comes up, ¿qué pasó? It's connected exactly to the position of the stones, right?
Yeah.
The sun and the stones are lined up exactly. So what is the conclusion of the scientists? They say,
The stone might have
they must have used this to have some kind of special ceremony on those days, right? They must have had some kind of special ceremony on those days. Now, there was also another mystery. What was the mystery about the rocks, right? Were they close to some mountains in that pictures?
No.
No, they were on a flat plain, right?
Yeah.
So the mystery is where did the rocks come from?
Yeah.
How they
Might
bring
have
them.
might have by boat.
They might have, right. That was one
by
possibility, that they might
yeah,
have brought the rocks on the river, right? They
Yes,
might
by
have put the
boat.
rocks on a boat and then put the boat down the river, and then they would take them off when they got down lower. That was one possibility. What was another possibility?
They might have rolled them with trees.
Wheels?
Right, they might have had big trees, and then they rolled the stones across the trees, right?
Yeah.
So that was another possibility. They might have brought them on boats. They might have rolled them across the trees. And remember the third possibility? They might have,
from wheels, something
right,
like
they
that.
might have put them in a big wagon,
Yes.
right? And, brought them with animals, right? Right? Because at the time they had no wheels, right?
Yeah.
So they might have put them in a cart and just pulled them across the ground with with working animals, right? Like oxes, right? So this is a good example of when we use may have, might have, must have, right? Because we don't know for sure, but we think, aha, because it's lined up to the sun, it must have been some kind of ceremony on those days, right? It must have been some kind of ceremony on that day. There must have been a ceremony.
Must have been.
Probably, right? Probably. But if it's a complete mystery, right? We say, where did these rocks come from? Remember, the little rocks were still very big, right?
Yeah.
The smaller rocks.
Yeah,
And how far away were they coming from? The big rocks were like how far away? Do you remember?
No.
The big rocks were 20 miles away, right? The big ones.
Oh.
And the little ones were over 100 miles away, right? Over 100 miles away. So they said, well, how did they get those little rocks? Those little rocks are still very heavy.
Yeah.
Well, they might have put them on a boat, as Edith said. They may have dragged them with animals, or they might have rolled them on big trees. Right? They may have, might have, could have done it that way. Right? So I'm gonna send you the link to that video, and you can watch it again if you want to. And you can say, You'll hear a couple of times the narrator will say might have, may have, could have, right? Because they're not sure. They're not sure. It's a mystery. It's a mystery, right? It's just like down there, what the Nazca crop circles, that's another mystery, right? Right? So when you have a mystery, you say, I don't know what happened. It happened a long time ago. It might have been this. It could have been that. It may have been this, right? But I don't know. I don't know. So if you're pretty confident, you say must have.
Must have.
Right? For example, the sun. We say, well, the sun must have been very important to these people because they lined up their rocks to match the sun. It couldn't have been just a chance. Right? It couldn't have been a chance. It must have been deliberate. It must have been deliberate. It couldn't have been just a random chance. But how did they get those rocks into that position? Quien sabe? They might have taken a boat. They could have pushed it across the land with the animal. They might have put it on rocks and rolled it. Who knows? Who knows? It's a mystery. Okay, so I'm going to send you a link to that video, and if you want to watch it again, you can. And listen for the possibilities, all the possibilities. What they think, must have. What is just possible, may have, might have, could have. All right? Sounds good?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, and tomorrow we'll I think we're going to move on to a new topic. Okay.
Okay.
Do we feel good about should have, could have, may have, might have, must have?
Yes.
Yeah, más o menos, más o menos.
Más o menos.
Remember, this topic is not on any test except for level 6. So if you're in level 6, this is on your test. But if you're in your level 5 or 4, no problem. This is not on the test. So it's only in level 6 test. This one must have, may have, might have, could have. So if you're in level 5 and 4, call on, don't worry.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Okay. No problem.
No problem.
All right. All right. It's 9 o'clock. We better go home, go to bed, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Good.
We must go.
We have to. Okay. All right. So I'm going to send you that link if you want to watch the video again. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
All right.
Okay.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good
Bye.
night.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
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 See you later.
Okay. See you
Yes,
later.
teacher.